Music with Mr. Eldred, even though he is not in the room. Music with Mr. Eldred. It's a video link, it's a little like Zoom. Yeah.
Good morning and welcome to a very special singing assembly celebrating Remembrance Day. So welcome to a very special singing assembly. It's special because the whole programme is presented by our pupils. We'll have a lot of singing in it, but all the information that you received today was presented by our current Year 6 when they were Year 5. The reason it was so special for me was the whole class got involved. It's the first time we've ever made a radio recording where even the shyest members of our community took part, and they did ever so well, as you will hear in a minute. In fact, they even won an award for it. Look, whoa, the most innovative team. I carry this around wherever I go. It can be very painful when you sit down. But they did so well, and let's enjoy their assembly in a minute. But before we do, we warm up our voices as usual. But to start off with, I'd like to talk a little bit about a lady called Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was a nun who worked in a place called Calcutta, and she dedicated her whole life to helping people, helping those that were destitute, those that were very poor, and giving them a quality of life that they would never have had before she set up her charity. But the thing that really stuck with me was what she said about war. She once said, "I will never attend an anti-war rally. If you have a peace rally, invite me." And what she meant was stop promoting war, stop celebrating war, let's celebrate peace, let's put peace out there. So I'd like to start our Remembrance celebration with a song we looked at last week, Down by the Riverside, which was adopted by the civil rights movement during the 1960s, and it is a call for peace. Lay down your arms, get on with each other. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield, down by the riverside. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield. Down by the riverside, I'm gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. That's hard, that chorus. We want to fit in. I ain't. It'll be like Bob Dylan. I ain't. It ain't me. I ain't. We've got to go, I ain't. It's almost like one word. I ain't gonna study war no more. Second verse says, I'm gonna walk with the Prince of Peace. I'm gonna walk with the Prince of Peace. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna walk with the Prince of Peace. Down by the riverside, I'm gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. The last verse says, I'm gonna walk with my friends in peace. I'm gonna walk with my friends in peace. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna walk with my friends in peace. Down by the riverside, I'm gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Sing the last verse again. We're out the guitar. Let's do it a cappella. Ready? I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield where? Down by the riverside. Ready? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield, down by the riverside. I'm gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Well done. Now your voices are all warmed up. Let's sit back, relax, and enjoy Year 6's assembly, their tribute to Remembrance Day.
Good morning and welcome to our Newington Community Primary School's AAA Radio Remembrance Day celebration. We hope that you enjoy learning about Remembrance Day and that you'll understand the huge sacrifice that millions of people in the past have made so our lives can be free today.
But what is Remembrance Day? Remembrance Day was originally known as Armistice Day and is held on the 11th November each year. It marks the day World War I ended at 11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month, back in 1918.
A 2-minute silence is held at 11 a.m. to remember all the people who have died in all wars, not just World War I.
To remember the early years of Remembrance Day and the sacrifice made by soldiers during the First World War, our senior choir will now sing 2 songs that were popular with the soldiers during that time. During the First World War, marching bands were sent to accompany the troops. Soldiers would put on concert parties and perform popular songs of the day. In the long periods of waiting between battles, songs played an important role in fighting boredom and boosting morale. Our first song, A Long Way to Tipperary, was the first big hit of the war.
It is a lively tune and is different to other war songs because it doesn't talk about the heroics of the war, but instead it's a song about missing home and longing to be back with family and loved ones.
Our next song is called Pack Up Your Troubles. As the First World War continued, upbeat messages about staying cheerful and carrying on, such as Pack Up Your Troubles, played a vital role in keeping spirits up.
The song united people in a shared experience, whether they were at home or fighting abroad.
Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. While you lose some fun to light your fag, smile boys, that's the style. What's the use of worrying? It never was worthwhile. So, pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. While you lose some fun to light your fag, smile boys, that's the style. What's the use of worrying? It never was worthwhile. So, pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile. mission and achievement and aspiration.
As well as Remembrance Day, which falls on the 11th of November, there is also Remembrance Sunday every year, which falls on the second Sunday in November.
There are usually ceremonies at war memorials, cenotaphs and churches throughout the country. The royal family and top politicians gather at the cenotaph in Whitehall, London, for a memorial service.
The anniversary is used to remember all the people who have died in wars, not just World War I.
This includes World War II, the Falklands War, the Gulf War and conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq.
It is time to remember the terrible suffering of people during the war, but also a time to wish for peace in the world.
Our next song is a celebration of power of peace, love, hope and faith that would make our world a better place.
It is called Peace is Flowing Like a River.
Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out for you and me. Spreading out into the desert, setting all the people free. Faith is flowing like a river, flowing out for you and me. Spreading out into the desert, setting all the people free. Hope is flowing like a river, flowing out for you and me. Spreading out into the desert, setting all the people free. Love is flowing like a river, flowing out for you and me. Spreading out into the desert, setting all the people free. Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out for you and me. Spreading out into the desert, setting all the people free. New Return AAA radio show, yeah!
Every year at the beginning of November, people begin to wear poppies.
Most of us know that it's something to do with the remembering people who have died in the war. But what are they for and what does the poppy symbolise?
Poppies are red flowers which are worn to show others that you are remembering those who died for their country. The reason poppies are used is because they are the only flowers which grew on the battlefields in Belgium during World War I. Soldiers who were fighting were amazed to see bright red poppies growing amongst the land that had been destroyed by war.
After the war, soldiers that returned to the battlefield saw fields full of red poppies above the land where many soldiers were buried.
Poppies make a very good symbol for remembrance because they are very delicate flowers that only live for a short time, which is rather like the young men and women killed in battle.
A Canadian doctor called John McCrae, who was working to help soldiers during World War I, wrote a poem in 1915 about his experiences of war and the poppies growing on the graves of dead soldiers.
He called the poem In Flanders Fields, and despite him initially throwing the poem in the bin, it became one of the most famous war poems of all time.
It begins, in Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row.
An American poet called Moyna Michael read the beautiful poem.
It gave her the idea of using poppies to remember the dead, but also to help the living at the same time.
She began to sell artificial poppies to raise money for the ex-servicemen and their families.
This idea was adopted in Britain by the Royal British Legion.
Each year, volunteers go out and sell these poppies in the streets all over Britain, and every donation helps brave people who fought in wars.
We hope that you wear a poppy with pride and give a donation to help soldiers and their families.
We've finished our AAA radio performance with our own version of In Flanders Fields. Pupils came up with the idea of using children's nursery rhymes so that the poetry could become easier to learn.
Mr. Eldred helped set it to music, and the finished song includes variations of the tune of the Grand Old Duke of York and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
We'll hope you enjoy our performance of our school's own Remembrance Day song.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we shall not sleep though poppies grow. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we shall not sleep though poppies grow. We are the dead short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset go. Loved and we loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we shall not sleep though poppies grow. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we shall not sleep though poppies grow. Take up a quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we shall not sleep though poppies grow. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we shall not sleep though poppies grow. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we shall not sleep though poppies grow. In Flanders fields.
Thank you for listening, and we hope that you've enjoyed our AAA Remembrance Assembly.
We will return with the Christmas video edition in December.
We're proud that we are Newington Community Primary School. We believe in a future bright for all.
Well done, Year 6, an amazing achievement. It does seem quite odd, doesn't it, seeing all those crowds congregating, and the world was a very different place a year ago, but those good times will roll again, and the good times start next week as we talk about Christmas. Woohoo! Keep happy, keep safe, keep well. Goodbye. Music with Mr. Eldred, even though he is not in the room. Music with Mr. Eldred, it's a video link, it's a little like Zoom. Yeah.